folks in rural Georgia don't have much trouble making a connection between religion and education. After all, both are supposed to make life better. And it wasn't so long ago that the churches were the ones running the schools for Talbot County's blacks. 40 years ago, the public schools were for whites only. And some of the older people in this congregation still remember those days.
It was pretty tough. White and color didn't mix and go to school nowhere here. Nothing there but this color.
I wasn't able to stay all through 12 years because I had to quit, and work for myself.
I realized this morning, Jesus, that I'm not banned for no show to the outside world.
So when they pray in the Shady Grove Baptist Church, what they pray for is a better life for their children. And in a way, those prayers have been answered. In 1955, they built a public school for Talbot County's blacks, and in 1970, they integrated the schools here. But by 1971, the integration experiment had collapsed. Almost all of the whites had pulled out. John Terry is a product of the Talbot County school system. Now he's a superintendent. But until he came back here 10 years ago as a teacher, he had never been inside this old school building. He'd never been inside because in those days, this was a high school for whites only. Now it's Talbot County's only elementary school. It's integrated, but just barely.
First year, we had most of the white kids to stay in the system. Following that year, we had the white flight, where the majority of the white students went to other school systems.
There are almost 1,200 students in the Talbot County schools. Only 40 are white. That's just over 3% white, while the total county population is more like 32% white. And since the state and federal governments give local schools money based on enrollment, all those children who opt not to attend schools here cost Talbot County close to $500,000 a year in much-needed income. John Terry feels like his schools are doing a pretty good job. Unfortunately, the statistics don't back that up. On statewide test of 20 basic reading skills, 28% of Georgia's fourth graders have learned them all. In Talbot County, it's only 4%. 24% statewide have learned all 20 math skills, but here it's only 10%. By 8th grade, the scores get a little better, but not even close to the state average. But statistics only tell a part of the story. When A and B student Cynthia Powell went to college in Americus last fall, she became an example of another part.
When I got to college, I realized that I had learned a lot of things that the other kids from other schools, from better schools, had learned. I figured that the teachers didn't cover enough material. They went over a lot of things, but they didn't cover it. I didn't know enough about it. I knew a little, but everybody else seemed to know more than I did.
The blacks here don't seem to be worried so much about the schools, though. They have something more basic on their minds: poverty. And in Talbot County, it is as abject as anywhere. For the youngsters, the dream is to get a job in the mills in Thomaston or Columbus, to get a job and get out. But the state test designed to show how well they're learning the skills they need to get jobs show they aren't learning them very well. Still, the people who run the school board, people like Frank Gerdon, say the schools are doing an okay job.
I feel like they can get an adequate education in this county.
Now, while Gerdon says he has complete confidence in the quality of the schools in Talbot County, that's not where he sends his children. He sends his kids here. It's a private school in the next county called Westwood, a school opened in 1971, the year after desegregation was forced on the people of Talbot County. So while the government tried to force integration, the Talbot County schools are just about as segregated now as they have ever been. Tomorrow, we'll take a look at how that segregation affects the quality of education and the quality of life for the people who live here. On special assignment in Talbot, Georgia, Gary Reaves, Action News.